What's up guys, it's Phil from Earth Nails and Tails, and today we have a super exciting episode. I can't wait to introduce you guys to our brand new greenhouse. So we honestly got super lucky with finding all of these pretty much symmetrically shaped glass windows that are lead free. We were able to find a local in our area that had all 26 of these windows, and honestly for a reasonable price. We got each window for $10, which I think is a steal, and this overhaul build, including the raised beds on the inside, costs about $1,200. So for an 8-foot by 10-foot greenhouse that's 9 feet tall and has pretty much all of the personality that I could ever want out of a greenhouse, I'm extremely happy with the final product. And this is going to allow us to grow different types of things that we wouldn't be able to grow in our zone normally. It's going to allow us to grow before our growing season as well as extend our season into the winter. This is just going to provide us with so many possibilities, and I can't wait to give you guys a tour and just show how proud we are to finally have this greenhouse completely built. So just walking around the outside here, as I said, it's going to be made of 26 windows, glass windows, and we have two different size windows. We have an 18 by 36 window here, which is used on the front on either side of the door, and then we have 28-inch by 36-inch windows on the side. So with the 2x4s that you see in between the windows here, that gives us about a 10-foot length and an 8-foot width to our greenhouse. And since the windows are 3 feet tall, the box of the greenhouse is about 6 feet tall, and then with the pitch and eave of the roof, it gives it about a 9-foot height. So overall, pretty impressive structure. And on the inside, as you can see, we also have our nice U-shaped beds that are pointing toward the southern direction, and that's not by accident. So if you were thinking like, oh man, why do you have your greenhouse oriented in such a weird way? Why don't you just make it parallel with your house or whatever? Well, I wanted the greenhouse to be pointing in the southern direction, so that way when the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, the greenhouse is going to get maximum exposure on every single bed that's inside of there. So once we get on the inside, I'll talk a little bit more about what kind of vegetables and the way in which we're going to grow them in there. But every gardener should have their beds, if they're in the northern hemisphere, pointing in the southern direction, and then if you're in the southern hemisphere, and pointing in the northern direction. So if you're on either hemisphere, if your beds are pointing in the north-south direction, that's going to give you the best results. So let's just give you a little walk around here. So our front door here is a polycarbonate panel. The reason why I didn't use glass is because I didn't want to spend the extra money to get basically a custom piece of glass in order to make that door. So I wound up settling with the polycarbonate, which I think looks just fine. And there's actually not a lot of exposure on this side. Since it's the north side of the greenhouse, a lot of light isn't entering here. We also use the polycarbonate for the gables up top. And that's because we want to capture as much heat, leave as much heat as we possibly can. And in nature, the heat rises, right? So we want to prevent the heat from escaping out of those gables. So that's why we use the polycarbonate up top. Also because we couldn't get custom glass windows, or didn't want to spend that much money to get custom glass windows to make those gables. On top of the roof here, we have corrugated plastic polycarbonate, and this is super strong material. This is basically designed hurricane strength. Since we are in Virginia, we do get some hurricanes down here. So these things are super strong. They are able to take snow load as well, so I'm not going to have any problems. This thing should be able to last through a hurricane. So that's part of the reason why I chose to do the polycarbonate on the top. I also didn't want to use the glass windows up top, just because the glass windows have kind of pockets here, and if it rained or something, that rain would just get stuck in here, and then it wound up decaying my wood even faster, the wood framing, so I just didn't want that. So I didn't take that chance, and I wound up going for the polycarbonate. And the nice thing about it too is, as you can see, there's these little ridges in here. So you can buy these pieces of plastic which actually fit right in the ridges of the polycarbonate, and it just locks that thing right onto the roof of the green, or the structure of the greenhouse, and that basically seals it up as well. So it provides a pretty good seal, locks in all that good heat that we want to keep in. So going around the back here, and as you can see, we have a pretty unique roof design here. So this is the western direction, and this is the eastern direction. So if you ever have a storm or something, it's normally going to come from the southeast in the northern hemisphere. So what this roof does, it allows that stronger gusts of wind, or our prevailing wind, to come up and over the greenhouse, and then basically provide some ventilation on this other side. So when we go walk around the other side, there is a vent on this vertical part, and that's basically going to help to draw that hotter air out in the warmer months of our season, so that prevailing wind will come in from the west, the vent will be open, and it's going to help to suck that hotter air out of the greenhouse. So multiple reasons why we have the roof design that we do. All right, so now that we talked about everything on the outside, let's go on the inside and see the final product. So it's a pretty chilly day, pretty nice for the middle of winter though, but it's about the lower 50s, and it's pretty windy here today, but as you can see based off of our thermometer here, it's a nice comfortable 74 degrees here in the greenhouse, so that's perfect. And as you can see, we also put in some raised beds here, but what we decided to do in here was make 12-inch tall raised beds, and we filled them with a nice general potting soil that I created. And what we have here is basically two beds on the right and left that I talked about before, how they're facing from north to south, and then we have the back of the U here. And in this greenhouse, we're probably going to focus on growing like tomatoes, cucumbers, melons, things of those sort. And then in the earlier and later parts of the season, we'll grow some, probably some lettuce or some spinach, something like that. Something that you can start pretty early in the season, and even if the temperatures get really cold in here, they'll still be able to thrive. Something that I also wanted to do in here was use this space in order to start seedlings. So I am planning on making some shelves along the back here, and that way I'll be able to transfer all of my seed starting trays from inside to outside once the temperature in here is stable. So some things that I did in here in order to create a more stable temperature, as I said, is installed the vent up here. So eventually we're going to be putting a fan or something up here, as I said before, in order to keep the temperature cool in the summer. But in the winter, the reason why I wanted to make these beds so deep, or one of the reasons why I wanted to make these beds so deep, is because the dark soil that's in here, once this greenhouse becomes more stable, has been here longer, the sun is going to continue to heat the soil up, and it's going to help to maintain the overall of the greenhouse. And the same thing with these rocks here. We have about 3 inches of rocks, and the exact same thing is going to happen as the sun continues to beat down on this greenhouse. These rocks are going to help to store more and more energy inside, and that's going to help to maintain the temperature of the greenhouse overall. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tour and got some good information out of our build, out of our construction of the greenhouse. And if you guys like our videos, please make sure you like, subscribe, share. It's free for you guys to do, and it helps us get traction. It lets us know that you guys are enjoying these videos, you're getting something out of it. Again, my name is Phil from Earth Nails and Tales, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.